Oh, that was close.
You got the one.
Sup Tho.
I want to say there's less pressure and there's more camaraderie.
Do you feel you have to carry the Iron Man movies in a way that you don't when there's lots of them?
It just comes down, it's just a matter of schedule. I mean, you know, when you're in every shot of something, you know what I mean? Well, it's kind of like doing your own show. You know what I mean? It's not like someone saying, hey, I'll do the next interview for you, you know. So you forget, you know, you want to still make sure that you have your arc and your moments, but you're not responsible for the narrative of the whole thing. So it's kind of great. And I genuinely like all the other folks, so that helps.
Were you a superhero fan as a child or as a teenager? Or
I suppose as a Westerner, as an American, it's just so part of the kind of kid culture, you know. I wasn't like a nerd about it or anything, you know, but I'm definitely
aware of it.
You know, all the old TV stuff and the comic book stuff has influenced me.
Iron Man is such a different superhero, though, isn't he? In that he's self-made.
Sure. He made a lot of people mad in the past.
In a very appealing way.
Right.
Was that what you brought to it, or was that there?
It was always inherent in the comics. And, you know, Stan Lee, back in the 60s, it was really kind of a Vietnam era sort of fabrication, you know, and he was under pressure to keep coming up with new characters, and so he kind of did this mosh of things, and who'd have thought all those years later that it wound up being the character that differentiated this universe from other comic book worlds, and here we are, you know.
What difference do you think it makes that he's a self-made superhero?
I think more than anything, I always played it like he's a guy who's in big business that you may or may not have judgment on. He's an arms dealer. And the metaphoric significance of having a piece of shrapnel from one of your own warheads blow up, and then you actually have to build something to save your own life. I always thought that to me is just, it's kind of a new myth.
Could you explain the idea behind Ultron? I mean, what is the real fear here?
In Tony's mind, the idea behind a team like this is for the team to retire, because the odds are that one or all of them are going to get bumped pretty soon. So his idea is pretty altruistic. He's thinking, how can I put us out of business and still have a big bouncer at the door of our vulnerable little planet?
And that's why he does what everybody fears, which is unleash this monster.
Right. Well, clearly he doesn't do it to unleash a monster. It's co-opted. There's a couple points in the script that I think it's the reason that Age of Ultron is actually a worthy companion to Avengers, and in some ways a better film, in that it takes the conventions and it twists and retwists them in a way that's kind of clever. Just as an audience member, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I appreciate the kind of complexity of it.
And what do you think of the obvious parallels being made between you and Iron Man?
At this point, it's natural, but you know, if you'd asked me in the first Iron Man, I'd be like, "That's me." And now I've realized that well, of course it's not. You know, I'm not saying that I'm such a fantasist that I felt like I was Tony Stark, but I felt like it was my persona. But none of us are our personas.
But he's becoming a much more likable character as well, isn't he?
I suppose
a better man.
Yeah, he's becoming a better guy.
You know, in a way that you are as well, I suppose.
Sure.
Oh.
I mean, what I'd really like to ask you about a quote you gave to the New York Times, and I don't want to pry, so if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But what you said to the New York Times once was, it was after your incarceration, and you said, you can't go from a $2,000 a night hotel suite to a penitentiary and understand it and come out a liberal. And I just wondered what you meant by that.
Well, the funny thing is, and I appreciate your point of view, things that you said 5-7 years ago were things you said in an interview that made sense to you at the time. I could pick that apart for 2 hours and be no closer to the truth than I'd be giving you some half-assed answer right now. I couldn't even really tell you what a liberal is. So therein lies the answer to your question.
It was in the past.
The statement sort of stands by itself, doesn't it? I mean, does that mean you're not a liberal, or that you came out of prison not being a liberal?
Are we promoting a movie? To me, the thing is that I'm certainly not going to backpedal on anything I've said, but I wouldn't say I'm a Republican or a liberal or a Democrat. I think when I was talking to the person who was doing the interview that day, and that just happened to be my opinion. That's the nice thing, is you can have opinions and they kind of change and flow.
Yeah, well, that's life and that's growing older, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you say we're promoting an interview. I mean, promoting the movie. I mean, obviously you're doing a promotional round of interviews, and that's why we're talking about the movie. But we also would like to talk a little bit about you. And I don't know how comfortable you are, you know, talking about yourself at the moment.
You have as much time as anyone else will.
Yeah, well, okay, well then let me just ask you a few more questions, and you can answer them if you want to and not if you don't want to. I mean,
I want to say something first when it's over.
I got you.
Well, I think we've got
He sees where this is
3 more
going.
minutes on our...
Yeah, he already sees it. Like, he
Starting
already,
down a
like...
little bit. You better get to your next question.
The dude already slowly tried to get into his past, you know what I mean?
You,
By connecting Iron Man with him in
the
real
reason I'm
life.
asking about the past is that you've talked in other interviews again about your relationship with your father and the role of all of that in, you know, the dark periods you entered and taking drugs and drinking and all of that.
You can tell he don't want to talk about it. He's starting to breathe harder.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're free of all of that? Or whether that's...
And it's always make pressure when the camera's in front of you.
What are we doing?
well, I'm just asking questions, that's all.
No, you're not.
Bye.
Are you...
He got way too personal. This is a promotion for the movie. Like...
Wow.
Do you...
You see, okay, it's just getting a little dinosaur in your...
No, look, I don't want to do that.
Stop talking. Wow, that
What a asshole.
douche. So,
Alright.
I got some comments, but you go ahead.
First off, I just want to say this: your past is your past. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do to change it. You can only make a better future for yourself. And that's clearly what Robert Downey Jr. is doing right now. He's making a better future for himself. You can clearly see from his body language and everything that, like, he didn't want to. He didn't come there to talk about his past. You know what I mean? And you can tell that that's something he doesn't want to touch base on. So the guy was pretty rude. I mean, he took his chances. I can't really say he was rude because he does do interviews, you know, that's his job, so you kind of have to be bold in that. But I feel like people doing interviews aren't really sensitive to certain things just because they want to get information so bad. So that's where he kind of crossed the line, where they're supposed to be talking about Age of Ultron. He slowly slips, like, transitions from Iron Man to his personal life. It was pretty slick, but it was pretty uncalled for at the same time.
Yeah. I also want to say that, like, it was kind of fucked up because you knew going into this interview, you knew how you was going to do it, how you was going to approach it, right? You knew what you was going to do, and then everyone else that you worked with knew what you was going to do. I'm pretty sure Robert Downey Jr. came into this interview, you know, thinking that he was going to talk about the movie or other movies, but I'm pretty sure he didn't think about, oh, let's talk about my past. No. So yeah, like you said, your past is your past, and I guess you can only learn from it. That was a really dick move. Like,
it was pretty bold, but I mean,
no, that. Wow.
It's the past now, you know what I mean? There's nothing we can do about it. Like, it's the past. All we can do is just move on from it, or because it's the internet, we can watch it all over again. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, the situation already happened. The smartest thing for Robert to do was to walk away from it, because he answered the Age of Ultron questions. You know what I mean? So there was nothing else to really talk about after that. It's straight promotion, and he did what he had to do. I would have did the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure the further we get into our future, and the more you guys get into your future as years go by, we may do things we regret. So, like, if me and Gator did something on camera that the world saw that, like, we regretted, you know, like Gator punches some homeless guy or something. I'm not saying he did, but like a video like that or something. And he tries to move on from it, and then...
Or if I try to, like, delete it, it's the internet. It's never, nothing's ever deleted.
It's not that, but it's like how Robert Downey, I'm basically, like, connecting him, like, you moved on from you punching that homeless guy, and you apologized for it and everything. But if we got interviewed, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want people to keep bringing that up. You know what I mean? So, and everybody knows Robert Downey Jr. got a whole lot of backlash for what he was going through in his life in the past. So, but yeah, certain things are touchy for certain people. So, we all gotta take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey.
We gotta acknowledge that stuff like that to ourselves and try to avoid situations like that. Cause this interview could have went way better. You know what I mean? But he did that. So.
And we applaud you for this.
Applaud who?
Robert.
Okay.
Not the other guy. So Robert, if you come across this video, know this: we love you, we respect you, and keep on doing your thing. Keep your head up. Keep looking forward.
And I totally agree. Like, Robert Downey Jr. was made for the Iron Man, like, the movie. He was made for it. Like, I couldn't see anybody else playing this role at this moment. You know what I mean? Like, from the sarcasm just to how he talks, I couldn't pick a better person to act out Tony Stark and Iron Man.
So, hey, keep it cool.
Keep it classy.
We love you.
Stay awesome.
Always and forever.
Yeah. Stay on those PlayStations.
Stay tuned for more reactions on the Gator Martin channel, where we do reactions to damn near anything. Also, I just made a new channel, which is Cooley Games. Go check out me doing some gameplay. And stay tuned for more videos on the vlogging channel, where you can see us in our random adventures. And support the Sup Tho movement. Everything's in the description below.